Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Christelle Martinette, and I'm here with another reading for the second half of March 2017. And I just wanted to let you know how I'm going about this the reading this time round. And as always, I will use my Vera Sibilla deck, and I'll be using this first off this time. And then I have a deck that warrants a bit of an explanation. I'll show you these cards one at a time as I tell you them. They're called the Tarot of the Mystical Spiral, and it was created by an Italian called Giovanni Pelosini, and the artwork is by a man called Giuseppe Palumbo, and the notion, the thread, the theme of the spiral is really something that that talks about nature. It goes through nature in all forms, from the macrocosm of the galaxies to the microcosm of our DNA, and the entire energy of the universe acts in helicoidal motion in some way. And of course, these laws are not really fully understood, as far as I understand myself, as far as I know, because what we usually remember and think of when we talk about and imagine the spiral, these are notions that have mystified alchemists, scientists, artists, mystics, and the traditions and myths in any continent talk about in some way or another the spiral, and in a symbolic language, in a semiotic way. And even in the mystical traditions, the great mystical traditions and esoteric mystical traditions of the West and the East, is inspired by the spiral. So come with me, and let's use this initiatory deck. This is an initiatory deck. It's the symbolism shows us, it talks about, it tells us about a path of initiation, and it invites us to make a quantum leap in our consciousness, and to go there among the sage, the wise men, and understand the secrets behind Gothic cathedrals, or invites us to dance with the dervishes, or the Maoris, and meditate with the yogi, or even go travel with the Vikings, and dragons, unicorns, and sphinxes, and minotaurs, with archangels, the Knights of the Templars, and try to find out the ancient the secrets of humanity and of life itself. So come with me, and we'll use this deck to clarify. And every time I pull the cards, I'll say what the card specifically means in this deck, and try to see if we can get clarification using that. So off we go to those readings, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, hello, Cancer. I forgot to turn on my candles. Let me do this. There's a reading here coming up for you from the 16th to the 31st of March. Let's see if I can talk to my Vera Sibilla deck and see if they can yield some messages for you that will be eloquent this time. Cancer, March, second half of March. Cancer, the second half of March. Let's take a look. Rearrange things, Cancer, and I have here 3 rows of 5 cards with the last Dottore card, if you could see that. And you're coming in with with much happiness, alegría, and outgoing with this nuptial dance, the Himeneo card. Now, what I do see under the two decks that I didn't choose is casa, which is house. Could be an institution, could be a place of work. This needs some clearing up. And leggerezza, which is lightness of being, but it also talks about doing something inadvertently, without, cautiously, or sex in the house. Now, I'm going to use the deck, the mystical spiral, the mystical spiral tarot deck. And I see here, though, in the focus, there's a focus, and it does talk about a person with children. Now, it could be a mother, could be a father, but it does talk about being tied down in a situation where all is not bad at all. And even though there is, or there has been, for many of you, I see that there was a period that was very, very happy, but then turned to sadness because of a loss, and because a lover left. And then a period, this is playing out in the last 2 weeks of March, because I see this closing up, clamming up, and for those of you who have children, and thinking and pondering and thinking and pondering, but a new beginning is in the air. I have these beautiful cards. This last row here is the Bambino, pensiero, the child, the thought. Gran consolazione, this great consolation, is the best card in the deck. Vecchia signora, and then Himeneo is the last card, as I said before. And it all comes up. It seems as if something, for many of you, it will be a loss and then meeting another person. For many of you, there will be a separation, but then a return, and you'll both be then on much more stable ground. Let me take this deck, the Spiral, Mystic Spiral, and see what they have to add to these two cards initially. All right, we have the Seven of Cups, we have the Queen of Swords, and we have the Eight of Wands, which is quite different from the other tarot decks. Now, this Seven of Cups. Now, the Seven of Cups, of course, is a card of emotion, and this is Athanasius Kirchner, among the vortex, the septenarian vortex, and the Tower of Babel. Now, you know that the Tower of Babel is a story about having to create, or when the creation of, because we were to be castigated, I can't remember now the fable itself, but a Tower of Babel was created so that all men could speak different languages, and that essentially is what it's talking about, that there is a difficulty in communication here. And but what comes up of that? That's the Queen of Swords, and the Queen of Swords here is the goddess Hera, and she's giving. She's how can I say? Sorry, she's okay. She is showing her symbols, and among which we see that there is I'm thinking in Italian and talking in English, the conchiglia, the shell. There's the shell that has the helix shape. And like the shell, you hear voices, and there's a suggestion of a message to you. This is after time that is taken alone. And then the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands is there's the rose petal, and they're the spires of the trees that form a shape where the center, it seems as if it were a cathedral, and the center is made of the flowers, vegetation. There are no walls here, and there's a monk praying. And usually in the tarot decks, the Eight of Wands would be a fast-moving card. This is a card of silence. This is a card of meditation. This is a card of telling us that we need to see what happened and reassess that in order, because it was that this then clarifies the notion that there was a bit of lightness, caution, less caution taken in the house, and something went wrong. Now let me take a couple of more cards on this, on the last card, which is a very enigmatic dottore. And when there's a doctor there at the end where there's no other cards attached, it's usually that things to be taken care of have already been taken care of. But you know, there's this. Let me take these cards to see what. Okay, all right, they will. That's exactly the right thing. All right, Temperance, and the Temperance card in this deck is, it resounds the message, quantum satis, as much as is enough. We separate, but we separate just enough time so we can understand with the Five of Cups, with this spiral staircase, us looking down, Cancer, you looking down and looking at what went wrong, what was spilling. And then, of course, we have this sun, this beautiful sun, lux veritas. There is the light of truth. And so I'm seeing for you, Cancer, that there is a moment where you're going to have to step back and reassess what happened to you. Let's take what happened to you both as a couple. Oh, hold on. Let me see if I can find my... There you go. These these are ebony runes, and they're very, very thick, so I wasn't worried about them breaking. Beautiful gift by Rose in Etsy. She has a shop where she crafts runes. Okay, now where it stops, nobody knows. There you go. All right. Well, the notion of the sun is again echoed with sohilo here, and right over the sun. There will be nothing for you to worry about in the last part of March, and there will be a transformation. This idea of having started that period with less caution, and it caused you an issue. We see that the greater caution is going to bring transformation with Diag. And then I have a number of messages. For example, I have Tyr is pointing directly to the idea of stopping, taking your time, and listening to your mind, listening to the inner voice, the same as the hue tree. Merkstave tells us nothing can go forward unless you stop, but it is in thought with the artista. It is in thought that Wunyo rears its head and brings you joy. And of course, the key to resolving the situation that presents itself is precisely facing it with the Otala is telling us. I hope this was of help to you, ladies and gentlemen, Cancer, and until we read again together, namaste.